And we're going to start with our body scan as usual. So once everybody's laying nice and cozy, and this is really good. We've got a couple people laying on the floor, and we've also got someone who's going to lay in their bed today to do these exercises, which is great because it shows how you can do these exercises anywhere, anytime. You could even do them sitting or standing. Personally, I prefer to do these ones laying down if possible. But I do use them throughout the day. The tilt and the flatten and the arch and curl, I do that a lot. I'll do it sitting, standing, and laying down. So when you're cozy, laying flat, let's start with just taking a couple of nice deep breaths. And just starting to get relaxed and bringing your focus and your awareness into yourself. Which, by the way, that's what Soma is. Soma is your body is perceived from within you. And that's the whole idea of somatics, is moving from within yourself. And that's why listening to the videos rather than watching somebody do the exercises is the best way for you to do them. So we're going to start by bringing our awareness to our neck and shoulders. Just notice how your neck feels today and how your head is feeling, whether you're laying on the floor or on your bed. And then notice how your shoulder blades feel today. Do they feel even on the floor? Do they feel light or heavy? And then move down through the shoulder blades to your sort of mid back and notice how you feel there. And in between your mid back and your shoulder blades, how do you feel there? And moving down through your low back. And as you take this next breath, notice how your low back feels today. Do you feel tension? Do you feel like your back is close to the floor? Is it arched off of the floor? Moving into your pelvis and noticing how your pelvis feels on the floor. Do you feel like you're laying evenly? Do you feel more weight to one side than the other? Then moving down through your legs, noticing how your legs feel in comparison to each other and how they feel on the floor. And all the way down through your knees and calves, right through your feet and your toes. And then go ahead and bend your knees and bring your feet to a standing position. And we're going to start with a few flattens today. So just leaving your arms nice and relaxed. And we're going to start with an inhale as you stay relaxed. And now as you exhale, you're going to flatten your back to the floor by bringing your pubic bone and your ribs towards each other, tightening your abdominal muscles. Hold that for just a moment. And then super slowly, inhale now as you slowly release the contraction in your belly. As slow and smooth as you can. And when you've finished releasing in your belly, take just a moment to rest. And then we're going to repeat that one again. So staying relaxed, inhale first. And now as you exhale, flattening your back to the floor by bringing your pubic bone and your ribs towards each other, tightening in your tummy muscles. Hold for just a moment. And now inhale again as you slowly, smoothly with control begin to release in your tummy as you slowly come back to your neutral position. And when you finished releasing, take another moment to rest. And we'll repeat that one again. Inhale as you stay relaxed. Exhale, flattening your back to the floor by bringing your pubic bone and ribs towards each other, pressing your back down to the floor. Hold for just a moment. And now super slowly, bring your awareness to your belly as you slowly, with control, begin to release in your tummy muscles. And at the very end of this release, we're going to go straight into the tilt. So when you've finished releasing in your belly, you're going to take another inhale as you roll your tailbone forward and down to the floor, tilting your hips just slightly so that your low back is lifted off of the floor. Hold that for just a moment, and then super slowly now begin to release the tilt, slowly and smoothly releasing, letting your back float back down to neutral position. At the end of that release, you're going to go right into flatten again, bringing pubic bone and ribs towards each other as you tighten your tummy muscles, flattening your back to the floor. Hold that for just a moment, and then nice and slow begin to release in your belly as you slowly, with control, let everything come back to neutral. At the very end of that release, you're going to go right into tilt again. Inhale, rolling your tailbone forward and down to the floor, arching your low back just gently up, holding for a moment, and super slowly now exhale as you slowly begin to release the contraction in your hips and in your back, slowly letting your back float down. At the end of that release, going into your flatten one more time, pulling pubic bone and ribs towards each other as you flatten your back to the floor. And at the same time, now roll your arms inwards towards your body so that the back of your hands are against your legs. Hold that for just a moment, and then nice and slow begin to release. Slowly releasing in your belly, slowly releasing in your arms now as they start to roll back open. And then going right into tilt, you're going to roll your hands open so that your palms are facing up to the ceiling. So rolling the tailbone forward and down, palms are up. Your low back is now arched off the floor. Hold for a moment and super slowly now begin to release the contraction in your hips and your back. As slow and smooth as you can. And slowly letting the hands roll back over to palms down. And then going right in to your flatten again, Bring pubic bone and ribs towards each other and rolling your arms inwards towards your body, holding that for just a moment, and then super slow begin to release. And at your own pace, I would like you to release this one. You'll go into one more tilt after, and then finish with one more flatten. Nice and slow, with control. And when you finish the one that you're on, take a moment to rest. Next, we're going to go into our peekaboo and look over the shoulder. So when you're ready, nice and slow, you're going to roll over onto your belly. And when you're on your belly, you're going to bring both hands up in front of you so that you're resting your forehead on the back of your hands. We're going to start with the peekaboo exercise. So what you're going to do for this one is keep your hands and your elbows on the floor, and nice and gently we're going to lift our head and our eyes. So lifting your head and your eyes off the floor, gazing up, remember to stay in your comfort zone. And then nice and slow and smooth now, you're going to lower your head and your eyes back down till your head is resting on the back of your hands again. And take just a moment to rest, and we'll repeat that one again. Hands and elbows staying on the floor as you lift your head and eyes, gazing upwards, holding for just a moment, and then nice and slow begin to lower your head and your eyes back down to the floor. Now this time you're going to keep your head on the back of your hands, and your hands are going to stay on the floor and your head is going to stay down. This time you're going to lift your elbows just slightly off the floor, gently squeezing your shoulder blades together. So go ahead now, lifting your elbows just slightly off the floor, holding for just a moment, and now nice and slow and smooth, begin to lower the elbows back down to the floor. And take a moment to rest. We're going to repeat that same one again. Head and hands stay on the floor, lifting just the elbows, gently squeezing your shoulder blades together, holding for just a moment. And now, nice and slow, lowering those elbows as slowly as you can. And rest. Now I'd like you to bring your left arm down beside your body and keep your right arm where it is. And then you're going to turn your head so that you're looking at your right elbow. So your left cheek will be resting on the back of your right hand. We're going to do what we call a look over the shoulder exercise. So staying relaxed, you're going to inhale first. And now as you begin to exhale, you're going to lift your head, your chest, and your elbow, and at the same time, lengthen and lift your left leg. Think of just gently looking over that right shoulder. Hold it for just a moment, and then nice and slow now begin to lower your leg as you lower your head, your chest, and your elbow. Make sure you take a moment to rest, and we'll repeat that one again. Inhale as you stay relaxed. Exhale now, lifting head, chest, and elbow, and lengthening and lifting your left leg. Remember, you don't have to lift high. This movement can be done very small, always staying in your comfort zone. And now nice and slow, begin to lower your leg as you slowly lower your head, your chest, and your elbow. And then make sure to take a moment to rest. We're going to do one more of those on this side, so staying relaxed. Inhale first. Exhale now as you lift your head, your chest, and your elbow, gently looking over the right shoulder. You should feel your left shoulder gently pressing to the floor as you lift that right elbow, lengthening and lifting the left leg, and then nice and slow, lowering them together, slowly and smoothly, back down to the floor. Good, and when you finish that one, make sure you take a moment to rest. And then when you're ready, you'll switch hands to the other side. So you'll be bringing now your left arm up. Your right arm will go down long beside your body. And you'll turn your head so that you're now looking towards your left elbow. So your right cheek will be resting on the back of your left hand. Staying relaxed. We'll start with an inhale again first. And now exhale as you lift your head, your chest, and your elbow, at the same time lengthening and lifting the right leg. You should feel your right shoulder gently pressing to the floor as you gently look over that left shoulder. Slowly, with control, now begin to release, slowly lowering your head and your chest, slowly lowering your leg. When everything is back to the floor, take a moment to rest. We'll repeat that one again. Staying relaxed. Inhale first. And exhale as you lengthen and lift the right leg, at the same time lifting your head, your chest, and your elbow, looking gently over that left shoulder. Holding for just a moment. And super slowly now, as you inhale, slowly begin to lower everything back down to the floor. Nice and slow and smooth. Make sure you take a moment to rest. And we'll do one more on that side. Staying relaxed. Take an inhale first. As you begin to exhale, lift head, chest, and elbow. Lengthen and lift the right leg as you gently look over the left shoulder. You should feel your right shoulder pressing just gently to the floor to help balance you. Slowly begin to lower. As slow and smooth as you can. And when everything is back down to the floor, take a moment to rest. And then, without rushing, you're going to roll back over onto your back again. And you're going to bend your knees and have your feet come back to that standing position. And now I'd also like you to bring your right hand behind your head. So your left arm is going to stay long beside you. Your right hand will go behind your head. And we're going to do an opposite elbow to knee. So this exercise starts with the inhale and arch. So all together, we're going to inhale as you roll your tailbone forward and down to the floor, arching your low back gently. Hold for just a moment, and now exhale as you slowly begin to release the tilt in your back, as slow and smooth as you can. And at the very end of that release, you're going to go right into flatten, bringing pubic bone and ribs towards each other, flattening your back to the floor, and now lifting your head and chest, bring your right elbow and your left knee towards each other. Hold for just a moment, and then super slow, begin to lower your foot and lower your head, trying to keep them lowering slowly and at the same time. When your head is resting, then slowly opening your elbow. When you've finished, make sure you rest. We'll repeat one more on that side. Inhale and arch, rolling your tailbone forward and down to the floor. At the same time, now think of pressing your shoulder blades to the floor and drawing them gently towards your tailbone. Exhale now as you slowly release the contraction in your back, slowly releasing in your shoulders, as slow and smooth as you can. And at the end of that release, going right into flatten as you bring pubic bone and ribs towards each other, flattening your back to the floor. Lift your head and chest and gently bring your right elbow and your left knee towards each other. Hold for just a moment and then slowly begin to lower. Slowly lowering your foot and head. Slow and smooth. And once your head is resting on the floor, then slowly opening your elbow. Make sure you take a moment to rest. And we'll do one more of those on this side. So inhale again, rolling your tailbone forward and down to the floor, pressing your shoulder blades, drawing them towards your tailbone, holding for just a moment. Exhale now as you slowly begin to release in your hips, slowly releasing in your back and shoulders, as slow and smooth as you can. And at the end of that release, going right into flatten as you bring pubic bone and ribs towards each other, flattening your back to the floor, lifting your head and chest and bringing the right elbow and the left knee towards each other. Then slowly with control, begin to lower them. Slow and smooth as you can. When your head and foot are back to the floor, then slowly opening the elbow. When you've finished that one, make sure you take a moment to rest. And then switch your arms so we can repeat this on the other side. So your right arm will go long beside your body and bring your left hand up behind your head. Remember, if this is an uncomfortable position for you, your arms can stay long, or you could bring your hand in front of your body. And we'll start again with our inhale and arch. So inhale, rolling your tailbone forward and down to the floor, pressing your shoulder blades, and think of drawing them towards your tailbone. Hold for just a moment. And exhale as you slowly begin to release the contraction in your back, slowly releasing in your shoulders. And at the very end of that release, you're going to go right into your flatten, bringing pubic bone and ribs towards each other as you flatten your back to the floor, lifting your head and chest now, bringing your left elbow and your right knee towards each other. Holding for just a moment, and then nice and slow, begin to lower your head and your leg. Slow and smooth as you can. When you finish that one, take a moment to rest. And while you're resting, I just want to remind everybody that when you're bringing that knee up, you can use your opposite hand, the one that's laying on the floor. If you would like to give support to that leg, you definitely can do that. You also don't even have to lift that leg. If it's uncomfortable for anyone, you can just be lifting the head and chest and just imagine yourself lifting the leg. Even that will give the same benefit. All right, we're going to repeat that one again. So inhale and arch, rolling your tailbone forward and down to the floor, gently pressing your shoulder blades, drawing them towards your tailbone. Exhale now slowly as you begin to release the contraction in your hips and back. Slow and smooth as you can. At the end of that release, going right into flatten, bringing pubic bone and ribs towards each other, flattening your back to the floor, and then lifting your head and chest, bringing your left elbow and your right knee towards each other. Holding for just a moment, and then nice and slow and smooth as you can. Slowly lowering everything back down to the floor. Make sure to take a moment to rest. And we'll repeat one more time on this side. Inhale and arch, rolling your tailbone forward and down to the floor, pressing your shoulder blades, drawing them towards your tailbone. And now exhale as you slowly begin to release the contraction in your back, as slow and smooth as you can. And at the end of that release, going right into flatten, bringing pubic bone and ribs towards each other, flattening your back to the floor, lifting your head and chest, and bringing your left elbow and your right knee towards each other. Holding for just a moment, and then nice and slow, begin to lower them back to the floor. Slow and smooth as you can. When everything is back to the floor, make sure you take a moment to rest. And then we're going to bring both hands up behind our head. So both hands will either be behind your head, it could also be on your forehead or on your shoulders, or they can just be laying long beside you, wherever they are comfortable. We're going to do a full arch and curl. So starting again with an inhale and arch, rolling your tailbone forward and down to the floor, pressing your shoulder blades, drawing them gently to your tailbone, and now tilt your head back. Hold for just a moment, and exhale now as you slowly begin to release the tilt in your neck, slowly releasing in your shoulder blades, slowly releasing in your back and your hips. At the very end of that release, you'll go right into flatten, bringing pubic bone and ribs towards each other, flattening your back to the floor, and then gently bring your elbows together and lift your head and chest into your curled position. Hold for just a moment, and now nice and slow, begin to lower your head, really focusing on your abdominals now as you slowly, with control, lower your head back to the floor, and then slowly, with control, opening the elbows. Taking a moment to rest. And we'll repeat that one again. Inhale and arch, rolling your tailbone forward and down to the floor. Press your shoulder blades down, draw them towards your tailbone, and tilt your head back. Hold for a moment. Exhale now as you slowly release the tilt in your neck, slowly releasing in your shoulders and your back. As slow and smooth as you can. At the end of that release, go into your flatten, bring the elbows together, and this time bring your elbows towards your right knee. Your feet can stay on the floor, but you're going to aim your elbows to the right knee. Hold for a moment, and then slowly begin to lower your head. Slow and smooth, lowering back down to the floor, and then slowly opening the elbows. Make sure you rest for a moment, and we'll repeat that one again. Inhale and arch, rolling your tailbone forward and down. Press the shoulder blades down, drawing them towards your tailbone, and tilt your head back. Hold for just a moment. Exhale as you slowly release the contraction in your neck, slowly releasing in your shoulders and back, as slow and smooth as you can. And at the end of that release, going right into flatten, bringing your pubic bone and ribs towards each other as you flatten your back to the floor, bring your elbows together, and this time lift your head and chest towards your left knee. Hold for just a moment, and then nice and slow, lowering your head and chest and foot back down to the floor if you did lift your foot. When your head is resting, slowly opening the elbows. For the next one, we're going to bring our elbows straight to our knees. And this time, if you'd like to lift your feet off the floor, you can. We call this one curl in a ball. So again, starting with our arch, inhale and arch, rolling your tailbone forward and down to the floor, pressing the shoulder blades, drawing them towards your tailbone, tilting your head back. Exhale as you slowly with control begin to release in your neck, in your shoulders, in your hips, and your back. As slow as you can. Going into your flattening your back to the floor, bringing your elbows together and lifting your head and chest now, bringing your elbows to your knees. And if you would like to lift your feet off the floor for this one, you can. Hold for just a moment, and then nice and slow, begin to lower your feet and your head. As slow and smooth as you can. Lowering everything back to the floor. Make sure you rest for a moment. And then at your own pace, I'd like you to do one more arch and curl, and I'll leave it up to you if you would like to lift your feet for the last one or not. Remind yourself to go as slow and smooth as you can on your release. When you finish that one, take a moment to rest. And then we're going to go back into our scan, our body scan position. So however you were laying at the beginning of class today, if you had your legs long, you'll go back to that position. If you had your arms laying beside you or on top of you, wherever they were, try to bring them back to that same position. First, just take a couple of deep breaths and really notice how you're feeling right now. Hopefully you're feeling very relaxed. Hopefully you're feeling less tension. So bring our awareness to our neck and our head and our shoulders. As you take this next breath, noticing how your head and your neck feel, how they feel against the floor, how they feel now compared to how they felt at the beginning of class. Now noticing your shoulder blades, how they feel now compared to how they felt at the beginning of class. And how do they feel in relation to each other? Do they feel even? Do they feel more even or more uneven than they did when we started today? And now moving down to your mid-back. And as you take your next breath, noticing how you feel with this breath in your mid-back compared to how you felt at the beginning of class. Moving down to your low back and your pelvis. Taking another breath and noticing how your low back feels now compared to at the start of class. Do you feel more relaxed? Does your back feel closer to the floor? And moving through your hips and down to your legs. Noticing, comparing how they feel now compared to when we started. All the way down through your knees and calves. Right to your feet and toes. And I'd like you to take just another minute to take a couple of breaths and really enjoy how you're feeling in this moment. And when you're ready, without rushing, you can roll to your side and come up to sitting. And we have a few minutes left for questions or feedback.